When Lieutenant Strink had this conversation with Ed Winter, it was noted in the police chronology, was it not?
Yes, it was.
And you testified that I think you testified Lieutenant Strink made this comment because there was another agency looking, or somebody else was looking into Arnold Klein. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
But in the chronology, the police chronology, it doesn't say that, does it?
Objection of relevance, Your Honor.
Overruled.
It doesn't say.
I'm not sure what it says in the chrono.
Winter said it was a follow-up visit with Newton.
The objection sustained. It would depend upon whether it's this officer's chrono and what may have been told to this officer. Sustained at this point.
It's Lieutenant Strink's chrono. Is that fair to say?
No, sir.
You don't know?
I know whose chrono it is. It's not Lieutenant Strink's.
Whose chrono is it?
That would be the chrono is part of this investigation. Who made that actual entry? I don't know.
You don't know.
If I could look at it, I might be able to tell you.
Well, I don't have a hard copy. Can you look at my iPad? Can I?
Yeah.
May I see?
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
No. Here's the note right here. Okay. So, can you see? Okay. So who made the chrono then, Your Honor?
Lieutenant Strink made that entry.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chernoff, thank you. We redirect Mr. Walgren.
Please, Your Honor. Detective, you did not personally see the 100 milliliter propofol bottle inside the cut saline bag. That's why you did not document, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And I see this last one. And again, you're used to the terminology calling it an empty IV bag. You would agree now that's an inaccurate description?
Yes, sir.
And you also, on that same page, defense counsel referred you to, a pulse manometer. Do you know if there is such a thing as a pulse manometer?
Pulse manometer? No, I don't.
Okay. Since you work on this case, have you learned there is a thing called a pulse oximeter that goes on your finger?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's probably an inaccurate description to call it a pulse manometer.
That's correct.
Now, in the chrono entries that were referred to by Mr. Chernoff, the complete entries, there's subsequent entries for August 20th regarding the decision to divide up the labor as far as the investigation. Isn't that accurate?
Yes.
In fact, it states that had meeting with DEA and BNE, that's Drug Enforcement Agency.
Bureau of Narcotics Enforcement. Yes, sir.
Regarding status of investigation and who would be best suited to look at various doctors for possible violations. LAPD will handle all matters involving Dr. Murray. DEA will handle all matters involving Dr. Klein and Mickey Fine's pharmacy. Special Agent Sarah Simpson from BNE will call IOs to let them know if BNE will investigate other doctors mentioned at the meeting for possible violations. Correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So all this questioning about Lieutenant Strink and decisions to divide labor, that was essentially summarizing the decision that was made.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you. Nothing further.
Thank you.
Mr. Walgren, thank you. Recross, Mr. Chernoff?
One question, please. Mickey, what is Mickey? Mickey Finn Pharmacy? What is that to this investigation? What's the importance of Mickey Finn Pharmacy to this investigation?
Objection relevant. Seems back on evidence.
Sustained.
Well, you just said the DEA was going to investigate Mickey Finn Pharmacy, right?
That was stated, yes.
Yeah. So, how come? Why?
Objection. Another agency calls for speculation and relevance.
Let me
Mr. Mullen,
rephrase
please.
the
I'll
question.
sustain the objection. 350.
Is Dr. Arnold Klein linked to Mickey Finn Pharmacy in some way, Detective Smith? Is Dr. Arnold Klein linked to Mickey Finn Pharmacy in some way?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chernow. Anything further, Mr. Walker?
No, just going on with him.
Yeah.
No, thank you.
Thank you. May Detective Smith step down, subject to recall, Mr. Walker?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Chernow? Yes. Detective Smith, thank you for your testimony. Don't discuss it or the facts of the case with any other witnesses until you are permitted to do so. If you are to remain on call, you're subject to recall and you may retake your seat. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Mr. Walgren, Ms. Brazil, your next witness is?
Yes, ma'am. One moment, Your Honor.
Yes.
And actually, may we approach briefly?